Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. Make sure to stick around. It's going to be a great one. Mitch opens up some new Prism NBA, so you definitely want to stick around for pack time. We also go on to the power play. We talk NBA, NFL, MLB, and even NHL. So you definitely don't want to miss it. Make sure to stick around.
This episode's brought to you by Red Cape Films.
I'm your host, Bird Bouchard. Let's get right on into it. The New York Yankees appear set to go all in on the top player in this year's free agent class. Gerrit Cole is the Yankees' clear offseason priority, and the front office has ownership approval to make the all-star right-handed pitcher a record-setting offer. League sources claim Cole's deal could easily surpass the $250 million mark. Such figures would actually see Gerrit Cole shatter David Price's record for a pitcher's contract that was $217 million over 7 years. Cole is coming off an outstanding year with the Houston Astros to saw him emerge as one of baseball's premier pitchers. The former top prospect most recently finished second to his teammate Justin Verlander in the AL Cy Young voting after posting a 20-5 record in leading the MLB in both ERA and strikeouts. And moving on to NBA news, the New Orleans Pelicans have exercised caution throughout Zion Williamson's rehab from a knee injury. And that won't change once the rookie phenom makes his long-awaited debut. The number one overall pick has yet to play a single game this season after undergoing knee surgery to repair a right lateral meniscus suffered during the Pelicans' second-last preseason game. And according to the team, Williamson will not be playing in back-to-back games following his return. The team is playing it safe and want him back at 100%, no matter how long it takes. Matter of fact, Williamson has originally been given a 6 to 8 week recovery timetable, but he'll reportedly return outside of that window. And the Houston Rockets have officially filed their protest with the NBA regarding Tuesday's double overtime loss to the San Antonio Spurs. The Rockets will now have 5 days to compile sufficient evidence to prove that the outcome of the game was affected by James Harden's disallowed dunk. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will then have another 5 days to decide whether or not he'll uphold Houston's protest. Houston was up 102 to 89 with only 7 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the contest at the time of the incident. The game would be replayed from that point if the Rockets' protest is successful. Thank you all so much for watching. That's all we have for our news today. Be sure to stick around for next time.
Power Play! Hey guys, so welcome to our first Power Play episode. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching it. After this, you guys are going to see me do a pack time, and there's going to be some goodies. I pulled a couple pretty cool cards in there.
So let's start off, obviously, with Canada's game, I'm thinking. The 2020 NHL Draft. It's going to be held in Montreal. God. It's going to be a big one. So for those who don't know, right now there's this kid. His name is Alexis Lafreniere. He's currently playing in the QMJHL for Rimouski Oceanic. That's the team that Sidney Crosby played for. Sidney Crosby put up absolute ridiculous numbers. I'm pretty sure we can show the numbers right now on the screen, maybe on the bottom.
Those numbers were ridiculous. In fact, one of the only things I know about it, because Bird, he knows a lot more about the stats. That's why he's going to be essentially, your host for this whole segment. So I'm going to be producing a lot of the content. He's going to be basically the brains behind providing the information and all the stats and whatnot. But what I do know is that even Gretzky, I believe, commented on how good this kid is. And we do have a card, so show him the card.
Yeah, for sure. So
get it right there on our overhead.
Yeah. Right now, this is basically the first card of Alexis Lafreniere, just because he hasn't obviously been drafted, and currently he is playing in the QMJHL. Now this kid is literally averaging nearly 2 points a game in the QMJHL. And I get it. So many scouts and so many critics, they're always saying that the Q doesn't really have the best defense. They don't really have the best goaltending. But this kid's, honestly, he could potentially put up 180 plus points this year in 82 games. Yeah, he could
be pretty good. I haven't seen too much of him other than, I guess the YouTube videos. But the way he skates looks good. He can shoot the puck. But I guess from what I heard, isn't he more of an all-around kind of guy?
Yeah, I mean, what he brings to the table is size, speed. He's got a crazy shot. But as Canadians, and we're really going to get to see him on the national stage level when he represents Team Canada on Boxing Day. I believe they take on Team USA. So definitely keep an eye on him. Right now, this card's going for what? About $4 or $5 on eBay, I think. Yeah,
so this card, obviously, he's not in his NHL jersey. The more and more pack times we do, and maybe on our power plays, we're going to incorporate more, top 10 tips to, basketball investments. And we're going to show you guys, we're basically going to teach you guys, entertain you a little bit. We're going to bring on different guests. But we do invest in sports cards as well. And that's a lot of what Red Cape Sports does. But again, this card, this isn't the one really to get yet, but they are going pretty hot on eBay already. Like, if you want to get a signed one, you could already find them for over $100.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, he's literally gonna be the next Sidney Crosby / Connor McDavid. So
it's a big statement. It's a big statement.
Yeah, honestly, it's a big statement. But he's like.
So what are his stats? What are his stats right now? What does it say on there?
Well,
does it have his stats?
This just has his Team Canada stats, and I mean, he put up 11 points in the Gretzky Cup in 5 games. So that kind of tells you, the impact he has every time he steps on the ice.
Wow.
And speaking of impact, another person that we have to speak about, switching sports here.
Yeah, so we're done with the NHL for now. We're going to get right into the basketball. And we've got a beautiful Luka Doncic card. Is it Doncic or Doncic? Like, what are people saying?
Well, I mean, born and raised in Serbia, so it's probably Doncic. But here in North America, we do say Luka Doncic.
Yeah, so this is a PSA 9. I believe if you look at PSA, because I've already kind of added the stats and whatnot, but you will find that some are going to be, like, majority of them are going to be a 10, 9, or 8 pretty much. So I picked up a 10. I picked up this card, I believe, for $45 US.
Wow.
Plus shipping.
That's a
and the shipping wasn't bad, yeah. So this card right now, it's probably going at least $100. So I've easily doubled my money on this. I would still say that this is a good value card to get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you watch what Luka's done, and what he has over other young NBA players is he has a track record. Mm-hmm. Sure, he just played, I think, his 105th NBA game last week, which really isn't many, but this guy's literally averaging about a triple-double a game right now as we speak. He's really putting the Dallas Mavericks on his back, and what he can do in terms of shooting the ball, rebounding, getting those assists, he's really a playmaker every time he steps out onto the floor. And I mean, he's really a likable guy. You just look at the way of his card, that signature fadeaway reminds you a lot of Dirk Nowitzki, and he's also playing on the Mavericks.
Well, he's essentially like replacing him in a way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now they got Mark Cuban. You could tell that basketball, I guess out of every sport, I've noticed that basketball, it could be because they don't wear a mask or anything as well. Like, you could see their face. Even in baseball, they wear a helmet. But basketball, you could see the dude. Like, he's playing, he's taking a shot here, and he's taking probably a three-pointer. But you could see in the card just how much value there is in basketball players. Like, the branding ability of actual athletes is huge right now. And with social media, NBA is doing good.
Yeah.
And they're changing. Because I never thought I would get into basketball.
Right.
But now, I probably invest mostly in basketball cards.
Right. Well, I mean, I think basketball is one of those sports where you really get to see the athlete's personality showing up. You talk about Russell Westbrook and what he wears in post-game interviews, the pre-game interviews as well. And like you said, I mean, you do get to see them on the court. LeBron James is very, very, very active on social media. Luka Doncic, maybe not so much, but like I said, he's just a really likable guy. Reminds me a lot of, fellow countryman Novak Djokovic. They're both kind of tall, funny guys.
Yeah, different
and
sports.
Just amazing. No, different sports for sure.
Yeah.
But in the sense that, they're just funny, outgoing guys and amazing at what they do.
And they're studs at what they do. I never heard about Luka in my life until about 2 months ago. He told me about Luka. I picked up one of his cards. Boom, I got in at the right time. So I would still say this is a good card. So for NHL, be on the lookout for Alexis Lafreniere, NBA. It's got to be Luka Doncic, or I'm going to talk about the one. Obviously, everybody knows about him. But you do have Zion Williamson. Now, this is a NBA Hoops rookie. Yep. There are the Prisms that just came out. Talk about how crazy those have been going. Like, what's going on with these Prisms? Okay. Insane, guys.
So, this isn't a Prism. This is an NBA Hoops card. However, these Prisms, specifically the first off the line, if you pull one of these, $800 off.
Like a silver. It has to be one of their variant models.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing, right? And for those of you who don't know, if you are going to collect seriously in terms of NBA cards, you're probably looking at NBA Prism, specifically the silvers. Those are the refractor cards that are really selling hot right now on eBay. But the reason why we specifically like this Hoops card is because it's, theoretically speaking, the first time that you get to see Zion Williamson in this New Orleans Pelican NBA jersey, and it's not going to cost you an arm, a leg, or your firstborn child.
No, you can. In fact, this card right here, the reason when I usually put a tag on the back just to write down how much I got the card for. This one, including shipping, I paid $7, and I could see the photo. I could see how good it was. One big thing when it comes to card investing, one thing we've been learning a lot about, just as much as the next person is. The card needs to be in pristine condition. Just because you value it, just because you think it's the best card, nobody cares. It's kind of, you kind of have to look at it from a, long-term, very rich person kind of coming in and wanting this card down the road, or somebody that has money that is willing to pay for the card. You essentially want to get them graded if you can, but if you keep them ungraded, make sure they're in good condition. If this gets a little cut or scratch, it's no good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally no good.
Yeah.
Right?
And I mean, I think a pretty good rule of thumb is if you are going to buy any kind of graded cards, keep it simple, either PSA, or Beckett.
Beckett for
BGS is
hockey
okay as well. But as well, if it's a 9 if it's under a 9, don't even bother. Save your money.
Yep. The other thing I was going to mention, not so much the player, but now you have a lot more variants, I would say, within cards. So variant, parallels, whatever you want to call it, it just means a different flavor of the card. So these are both NBA rookie card from the same pack, but this one looks different. This is a teal explosion one. PJ Washington Jr., I think he's a good player. Again, I still see Zion as a bigger player right now. However, this card is a little more expensive than the one that you would get for this particular base model. So this would be a base model. So you want to kind of do your research and look. Prism will have their base model, and it will look silver, but it's not. It's going to be a Prism silver if it's shiny, and you will know because it will glow and it'll have when you put it
effect.
When you put it to light, it'll have that rainbow effect. Same thing with NBA hoops or different style. They're all Panini with basketball, right? Yeah. For the most part, those are the ones you want to get. But as you can see here, I do have a Zion Williamson card that is just like this on the way. I haven't picked it up yet, but just be on the lookout for these cards, and they will also be numbered. And that's a big thing, right? So is that a new thing that they've been doing?
Not necessarily numbering cards, but in terms of what's new compared to maybe the 90s is, well, even the 80s. The 80s and 90s, cards were so mass-produced. So often do I hear, I got these cards from the 80s and the 90s. They're old. They must be worth a lot. Well, the reality is just because something's old doesn't necessarily mean that it's worth a lot. So many different sports card collectors were trying to get into it and trying to flip cards back then for a quick buck. So, companies like Donruss, companies like Topps, companies like, the whole shebang, they were all trying to, really produce as many cards as they could because they wanted to profit on it. But now what you're seeing is sports cards, yes, they may be worth more. However, they're also worth more because supply and demand.
Yeah. Especially now, you do have the potential to have different variants too. And I would say the cards are looking better. Like, you wouldn't see a card like this even 20 years ago. It'd be less rare, I think. Or it'd be rarer to see a card like this. So I think to have those different variants are pretty cool. So again, we got Alexis Lafreniere for NHL, and then for NBA, you're looking at Zion Williamson or Luka. Those are still great buys, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you? Anything else you would mention in there? Other sports?
In terms of NHL, I think Quentin Byfield. So many people already have locked in, written in Sharpie, the first overall pick is going to be Alexis Lafreniere. And while I also believe that, I think another good pick is from the Sudbury Wolves, Quentin Byfield. He's just got size. He's got a hell of a shot. And I think he's really going to be... definitely, he's going to provide a lot of value wherever he ends up going. Right now, probably you're looking at a team like the Ottawa Senators or something like that, but whoever he ends up with, he's really going to have the opportunity to lead them. He's proven that he's a good leader. I mean, last year he had over 100 points in the OHL, which is a pretty good league. So, I mean, I think if you are looking to invest, wait for his NHL Young Guns. But if you do want to invest right now, a CHL card wouldn't be a bad option as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun to get some of the cheaper cards, like the Alexis Lafreniere. It's not going to be the one that I dump the majority of my investment for that particular name. It's probably going to be when he puts on the jersey. I don't know who he's going to play for, but...
right now, probably Ottawa or Detroit, the way things are looking.
Yeah.
But
usually it goes to the worst team, right? They have a better chance to...
Yeah, I mean, they have a better chance, but, I mean, as we all know, with the lottery, anything can happen.
Yeah, so look out for Alexis Lafreniere, Quentin Byfield, right?
Yep.
He's a good-looking player as well. Now, moving on to NFL. This sport I am not too familiar with. I'm familiar with older players. I'm not too familiar with the new guys yet. Bird knows a lot about NFL players. One guy we were talking about, though, was Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Sam
the golden
Darnold.
Boy.
The Golden. I hate it when he says that. He's got all these names for these players, which is pretty cool. The Golden Boy, whatever. The Golden Guy, the Pharaoh. But yeah, you probably even heard like Gary Vee talk about him or some other people. I recently looked at his cards. They're still undervalued, I think.
Absolutely.
If he's going to be a guy that plays for a long time, and if you can get in and get... Which card would you get? Like a Prism, right? A Prism or like maybe a one-on-one
either a Prism
national
or an NFL Contenders.
Contenders?
I think an NFL Contenders, since this is his sophomore year, you can still get them relatively cheap. You're looking under $30.
Yeah.
But they're definitely going to go up in value. I think when you look at what he's done at USC and really what he's done the second half of the season, you look at these teams he's going to be playing against to finish out the season, and they're really not good. So I think he's going to put up a lot of yards. Maybe from here on out, you're looking at 10 plus more touchdowns. So that's really going to help pad his stats. They're obviously not a playoff team, but if you had invested at the start of the year or even invest right now, I think you have a good chance of maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 times your return.
So what else could he do this year? What would make it, like, what could he do on or off the field this year that would push his card to bigger numbers?
I think more so than touchdowns, you're going to look at his yardage per game. This is a guy who, his team's not going to win a lot of football games, so he's going to have to throw the ball downfield. You look at the last couple of his games, and he's pushing 290 plus yards, around 300 even some games, and that's really what you want from your quarterback. That's kind of the threshold of, from great to, elite status, right? Yeah. I mean, someone who can consistently throw for 300 yards. And when he's going to do that, as I suspect him to, for the last couple games of this NFL season, his value of his card is really going to go higher and higher looking into next year.
Yep. So the other guy, one guy on my list, of course, Bird, if you don't know already, biggest Ohio State Buckeye fan.
All right, let's go.
It's ridiculous. He loves Ohio State. So that's Bird with Ohio State. He's always wearing Ohio State. But anyways, your boy, Dwayne Haskins. Now, I've been looking at his card. I haven't gotten any yet because, again, you have to play in your strengths. If you're going to invest in a sports cards specifically, you have to understand what you're doing. Because if you go in just because you hear a guy or whatever, for me, you have to understand it. I think of it as, say you're a baseball hitter and you're waiting for the right pitch to come, meaning the right player to come. So for me, I understand that Zion's hyped. He is, he's got the injuries, whatever, but he's got big potential. Lafreniere, the stats say it all. And then you have guys like Jaren Jackson Jr., Trae Young, Luka Doncic, who I really believe in. I don't even know the sports like NBA super well, but I do know enough that, if you're scoring a lot, playing the way they do, they're different than the other players on the court.
Right. while stats are important, I think it's really important that you don't delve too far into stats. And what I mean by that is you look at Dwayne Haskins, 50 touchdowns, an absolute stud with the Ohio State University. And then now we'll move it to this year, his NFL rookie season. He hasn't performed too well. You look at his stats, okay, 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Mm-hmm. That's really not that great. But, I mean, his first game, he got thrown in he got thrown in ice cold, never got to read the playbook, didn't see the offense, and he threw, I think 3 or 4 interceptions. So that wasn't going to help him. Now, you flash forward into the season, and, I mean, he just picked up back-to-back wins against the Lions, just last week. But what's really stands out to me, and again, you kind of have to watch these games too, and you really have to follow these players. You can't just look at the stat box. His stats are not flashy. Mm-hmm. I don't even think he's yet to throw for 200 yards. Yeah. However, his team and his coach specifically isn't allowing him to throw the ball downfield. But when he is throwing the ball downfield, he's making huge connections to Terry McLaurin. Hi, Terry, the Ohio State wide receiver there as well.
Maybe he's watching. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe he is watching. Know. If you are watching this, I love it.
I'm hoping Zion watches.
Right, but the point I'm getting at here is his stats aren't flashy, but he's playing better and better and better each and every week. Mm-hmm. He's currently got 2 back-to-back wins, and he's leading his team to being playing better football. Yeah. And again, the stats maybe won't be there for a little while because he's still learning the offense, still learning the playbook. Mm-hmm. But I mean, anytime you smash records in the Big Ten. I mean, Drew Brees, one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, also played in the Big Ten for Purdue. And Dwayne Haskins, it took him 1 season to break all the records.
Yeah, that's insane. The rookies coming up now are just on a different level, right? And then not only that, but we have, the population's bigger, the training, diets they have is better. Mm-hmm. But then you also have the media where you can't lie about things anymore, right? Because you could lie and the media could lie and say that player's bigger than they are. And I'm sure you've seen that with players. But then you could have somebody where they come up out of nowhere. People know how good they are, but they don't break through the media. Because media is big, right? Luka, everybody knew about Luka. Everybody knows about Zion. Zion's card, he's got a card for $15,000 on eBay. Hasn't played in a regular season game yet. Blows my mind. But that's because we know the potential at least. It doesn't mean he's going to be great too, though, because there is a risk. There is a risk with Zion. I know Bird tells me all the time, and it's true. 4 or 5
injuries. That's all I'm saying is I believe the Zion hype. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
What Zion was able to do in Duke alone, in his high school in South Carolina, phenomenal, without a doubt. I just, you get injured 4 or 5 times. And, I mean, he is going to struggle to lose that weight. And, yes, the weight put on is also going to make him stronger. But it's also going to really start to take its toll over the body over the years.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's not 2000 anymore. Teams like to kick it out for threes. And the 3 is fun, right? I mean, you're watching the
game's changed a lot, right?
Exactly, right?
Yeah, the game's changed. The first game I watched this year was with Bird, and we watched Luka Doncic play. And granted, he cannot score a 3 when I watch. Never. He never shoots a 3. He shoots a lot of 3s when I watch. He never makes them. But he does miraculous stuff. But, I've noticed, the game's different. But I do like the appeal of Zion, the way he plays. That could be big in terms of media and the highlights, too. I personally think he's still going to be great, depending on how he can recover. But I really do believe that God put him on this planet to just tear it up, man.
Are you concerned, however, with, they came out with a report saying, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks, and he's going to be back playing in the NBA.
Yeah, I've been hearing conflicting stuff. Honestly, that's one thing I do want to mention, too, I guess. Surprised we're getting into it, but the media, there's a lot of fake crap out there, but there's also a lot of real stuff. Just check your sources, really. Check to see if that coach did say that. Because you'll see even YouTubers make videos as to, the secrets as to why Zion will never play. A lot of this stuff's phony, too. Try to have an open mind. Listen to what the media is saying, but make sure that the sources are kind of relevant in who's saying it. And make your own judgment, right? Mm-hmm. Just because you see a post on something, it doesn't mean it's real. I saw a post, I was scrolling through Facebook, and it was saying that, if you eat 5 cloves of garlic every day, you live till like 150. Like, people are believing that. Like, they're dumb. Like, it's dumb.
Yeah, and
Don't just believe anything. Like, for me, I talked to Bert. This guy knows so much about sports, and that's why he's the host of the show. And, like, to be able to talk with him and to get feedback from different people, you sort of compile your own methods and your own ideas and ideologies of who you're going to pick. So
yeah, and I mean, just to touch base really quickly as well, piggybacking off your point was, I'm even a big Ohio State fan, but at the start of this season, there was a fake Twitter account for the quarterback of the team up north. Don't make me say it, the Wolverines, Shea Patterson, and there was a fake Twitter account, and they photoshopped this amazingly, and it was a photo with a quote from Shea Patterson saying, "I came back to, play for the Wolverines because I'm quote-unquote going to spank the crap out of the Buckeyes."
Yeah.
He never said that, but it got, I think it was 27,000 retweets before he could even address it. Then once he addressed it, it got even more. But, I mean, 27,000 retweets, that means that 27,000 retweets, just people actually hitting the button to share it. But it probably reached even, 150,000 people, if not more.
And it's not even what he says. By the time you tell somebody, and even when I hear it now, later on I'll be like, oh, this guy said F this team or whatever. It's like, maybe, like, how did he say it? And, there's conflicting things that people will say. But the point is, Luka, Trae Young, those are 2 guys right now who are great cards. You won't see the big growth that you could see with Zion because he hasn't played yet. Yeah. So it's a bigger risk, but a huge upside if he plays well. If he plays relatively well, you're going to make money. And then getting into MLB, baseball. I want to start with one guy, first of all. I wanted to talk about that Adley kid. I was looking at the Adley kid. So what makes that kid good? This guy he's not in the MLB yet, right?
So he just got drafted first overall in this year's MLB draft. Unfortunately, to the Baltimore Orioles. But what makes him interesting, and I believe I've told you this story as well, Mitch, is do you know how good you need to be in a College World Series game, bases loaded, no outs, and they intentionally walk you? And not only are you ridiculous. Intentionally walked, you give up the lead. Mm-hmm. It was a 4-4 game, I believe, in the top of the 6th. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments.
It was 4-4 too? They did that to give him the lead?
To give him the lead. That's how good he was.
That's not normal.
They would rather give up the lead than throw to him.
Yeah.
I think he batted something crazy like 480. Granted, he was using a metal bat. And he's a catcher too, right? He's a catcher.
He's got that franchise type. Right. It's a big position to hold.
I mean, it is a bit concerning. I mean,
are they looking for a catcher, Baltimore?
Baltimore's looking for everything. Baltimore is looking for fans.
Not good.
They're looking for pitching. They're looking for everything.
Yeah.
Baltimore is awful.
You guys heard it first.
No,
Baltimore is awful.
They didn't hear it here first because they knew it.
Yeah,
for
probably.
Years.
Are they worse than the Tigers or?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably
Tigers.
not.
Tigers.
For those of you who don't know, we live in we live
near Detroit.
Yeah.
So Detroit. So we got the Detroit Tigers about 40 minutes from where we live, and depending on how you if you take the bridge or whatever, but. The Tigers, a lot of people make fun of them. That's kind of the news we get. We get to hear about the Tigers, a little bit of what's going on in the U.S., but primarily Canada, though. We get a lot of Toronto news.
Yeah, but I mean...
That'll be a different episode.
The Tigers do have one promising pitcher in Casey Mize. This is a guy who's drafted first overall out of Auburn, and he's already thrown a no-hitter in the farm system, and he's got crazy stuff. But so that's just
say him again, so people can be on the lookout.
Casey Mize. That's just a little tidbit right now. I mean, if you can get into his card right now, maybe a good investment. You're probably looking at like a Bowman First or maybe a Bowman Platinum, anything like that. Just because he hasn't really played with the Tigers yet. I believe he will this year. But that's just a little quick tidbit, and I mean we can move on to the next player who I'm super excited about.
You want to talk about Tatis?
You can talk about Tatis. Tatis wasn't honestly the player I was going to talk about.
All right, who are we going to talk about?
Let's start with Tatis.
So let's just talk about Tatis Jr. So he's a good-looking hitter. He's a good-looking player, right? Other than that, I don't know too much about him because like he hasn't been around that long, right?
So last year was his rookie year.
But what did he do? I want to talk about Pete Alonso, really.
Alonso,
Dude, didn't he win the home run derby?
So he won the home run derby.
Dude wins a home run derby rookie year. I don't know how old he is. I'm sure he's young. But if you know anything about baseball, that's probably baseball and hockey are probably the two sports that I have the most, I guess, knowledge in or experience in because I actually played both. But to win a home run, like to hit a home run to hit a baseball like that and to hit it consistently, hit it at the right spot, they make it look easier than it is. But he hit so many home runs his first year. I got tons of his cards.
53.
We are gonna show you guys his cards eventually. I'm getting some graded right now, but he hit 50, more than 50, right?
53 home runs.
That was 56.
It's the MLB record for most home runs. So you got to think about that.
That's probably more than Babe Ruth hit his first year.
Well, it is. It's the MLB record. So no one in the history of the game has ever hit more home runs as a rookie. So he actually beat out Aaron Judge slightly because Judge hit 52. But I mean, Pete Alonso coming into the year, we all knew the hype. And he just started so well. And, it's going to die down. It's going to die down. They're going to learn how to throw to him. It didn't die down.
No.
And, I'm not sure, and I'm sure maybe we can throw up a quick little highlight here, but Vladdy Guerrero Jr., when he was in the home run derby, I personally thought he was going to win. He was just moonshining, moonshots.
Yeah. Well, the way they did it, too, is different, right? So now instead of like having pitches you'd look at, you just have time. So you're just swinging. He probably got exhausted, to be honest.
But I mean, to me, that's even more impressive.
Vladdy's great too. Vladdy Jr., he's insane. He sees the ball. I think he sees the ball 20% better than every other player. I'm telling you, when I watch him, his first game, he had an at-bat against Aroldis Chapman. If you don't know, he's the hardest thrower probably ever. One of them.
Second hardest.
Second hardest ever, whatever. Is it Hicks or something?
Yeah, Jordan Hicks.
Yeah. I have his rookie, by the way. I was going to show you. I didn't tell you about it yet. But anyways, he had a 14-pitch at-bat against this dude. He was down 0-2.
Wow.
Then somehow managed to bring it back. And it was pretty wild. He did ground out into
That's
it.
impressive.
Inning-ending double play, but...
It is a bit concerning, though. All the hype that was built around him. And, I mean, I believe... obviously, correct me if I'm wrong too, but I believe he didn't even hit like 250 to end the season. I think he struggled towards the end. But I mean, again, personally, I don't care. I look at a guy like Giancarlo Stanton. You don't have to hit 250. If you hit me 50 bombs and drive home 100 RBIs, go for it. You don't have to hit your weight.
Mm-hmm. That's a different beast. He's good.
So,
but anyways, let's move on to that. Any other players that you want to talk about briefly?
Yeah, very briefly. In my opinion, the best up-and-coming player. I mean, obviously you got Mike Trout, but no one can really afford his rookie card. But a rookie card that you can afford, that I'm telling you, actually, I will guarantee you, if he stays healthy, you will at least double your money on this. It's Ronald Acuna Jr. Ronald Acuna Jr. was almost the first player.
Disclaimer, we're not telling you which cards to get, but we do want to tell you potential guys. So we're not telling you to get any of these guys, but if you want to, if you do your research after and believe in what we're saying, absolutely. I would, but we're just saying on video, just so we don't get in trouble. Don't just go and invest in the players that we're saying.
That's true.
Just make sure that you do your research, and we're not telling you which players to get, but we are telling you which ones we're getting.
And also, don't invest any money that you can't afford to lose, because that's just not smart.
Yeah, not smart.
And not cool. And you want to be one of the cool kids.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, you want to be the cool
kids. Regardless, Ronald Acuna Jr., what you get out of him is you get contacts, so you get average, you get speed, and you get home runs. I don't think there's a player since one of our dad's favorite players, Jose Canseco.
Pete Rose.
Jose Canseco.
Pete Rose could do it
but
all.
Jose Canseco had that 40-40 season.
But Jose Canseco is hard. Dude, that dude's a monster. That dude's like on steroids.
But that's what I'm saying.
He's still big. This guy's a goon.
This is the next player, man. Yeah. Ronald Acuna, he's so young. He's 21 years old.
21.
He's playing on a hot Atlanta Braves team. The catches he's making in the outfield, the throw he's making in the outfield. Yeah, I mean, he was close to a 40-40
almost love this guy more than Luka.
But that's the thing.
By the way, Bird loves Luka Doncic.
Oh, yes. Yes, I love Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic is Bird's man crush. He will.
Oh, absolutely.
He will leave his wife for Luka at any moment in time. So, Luka, here's your chance.
Yeah. So if you're watching this. But no, I mean, a 40-40 season. We see daily what happens to the price of this card right here when he puts up a triple-double. Now, that's just daily.
That's when I sell them.
It's a slight rise. But when Ronald Acuna is going to put up a 40-40 season, the first in a long time. We saw what happened with Miguel Cabrera when he won the Triple Crown. No one did it in years.
I don't think anybody's ever done that, except for, you're right.
Well, it was Miguel Cabrera and Ted Williams. But what I'm saying is the 40-40 is so rare, and he's so close, and I truly believe he's going to get it in 2020, and when he does, his price is just going to boom. And right now, you can even get a graded Ronald Acuna Jr. card, a Bowen First Chrome, for about under $40.
Is that USD or Canadian?
I believe that's USD. Regardless, that's still really good.
Yeah. If he plays for a long time, all that other stuff.
Absolutely. Right? And I mean, he's 21 years old. So, I mean, when you are investing, at least myself personally, you really don't want to invest in a guy who's got age, who's going to retire in a couple of years, because then the years for you to sell it and profit off it, you kind of want to sell it when they're at their prime or coming off a big Super Bowl win, coming off an MVP when we saw Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve's price of his rookie card just in the playoffs tripled in one game.
Yeah, but he basically primed out. Well, he did all these miraculous things like towards the end of his career almost, right? Or mid-career, whatever you want to call it, right? So, but anyways, guys, that's all we have for time. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment of Power Play. So next week, not quite sure what we're going to do yet. However, you guys do have a basis as to which cards you could be on the lookout for in each sport. We're probably going to provide a little list or document. Don't forget to like us on Instagram, Facebook. It's at Red Cape Sports. And anything else you want to say?
No, just thank you everyone so much for watching. This is just the first of hopefully many, many, many episodes, but hopefully you guys kind of got a little glimpse of what you're going to see here on the weekly. So definitely subscribe, hit the little bell button. That way you're notified anytime I have something to say. Yeah.
So absolutely, guys. Before you guys do that, don't forget we're going to be going right into a pack time. So let's get right to it. Pack time. Hey guys, welcome to the first installment of Pack Time. So what is Pack Time? Pack Time is going to be a time and a place where I unbox 2 packs of cards. Now, we're going to start off with a pretty cool pack because these are really hard to get. Basically, we've got the Zion Williamson Prism Silvers. I was going to open it earlier, but I figured I would save it for this. That's why I got a little tear here, but it hasn't been opened yet. So what is Pack Time? Pack Time is going to be where myself or Bird, we're going to open up 2 packs of cards. And then also, if you like, comment, and subscribe, you are automatically entered to have a chance to win a pack of cards. So this could be, Prism packs. This could be Panini NBA Hoops. This could be football cards, basketball cards, any kind of sports cards that we're going to be opening. The reason we have this is because, these cards are rare, and we're obviously looking for Zion Williamson here. So, I'm filming everything myself as well, so if something's a little bit off or out of focus, I apologize. But anyways, these are the packs in here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to save this box, put it off to the side. Let's leave that there. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix these up. And we're going to open up 2 packs. So you guys get to experience this with us. So right here we've got the beautiful Zion Williamson potential card. What we're looking for in this particular pack, since these cards are going crazy on eBay as I speak right now, if you get the Prism Silver Zion, you have a card that's over $500. So there's a lot of potential for these. Let's rip a few open. Hopefully we pull something good. All right. Looks like we got a Kevin Porter Jr. Hopefully I can hold this at the right distance. So we've got a Karl Malone. Not a bad card. Kyle Anderson, Kevin Durant, NBA finalists. Then we got a nice Kevin Porter Jr. rookie. So essentially, when you're opening up packs of cards, right now in the NBA, we've got a great lineup of rookies. Anywhere from, last year we had Trae Young. We've also had Luka Doncic, who's playing really well right now. He's actually probably one of the best in the NBA. So when it comes to the NBA cards, and the reason why we're going to try to pick up a lot of those as well is because the NBA has got a nice lineup of rookies. So even as you can see here, Zion Williamson is probably one of the most hyped players in probably a decade. So, when it comes to guys like LeBron James, Michael Jordan, he's right up there with the way he can play, especially his dunking ability. I wouldn't say he's Michael Jordan shooter. May not even see the court like him at all, but he's definitely got the potential. So let's get to the next pack. So this is how I open it. I just cut my nails too, makes it hard. So I just kind of take it from the top there, and then I carefully rip it all the way down. And then you could also put the cards back in as well. So actually I'll show you that with this. So let me show you that first of all. So if you open it that way, you can put the cards back in. And then later on, I'm also going to show you guys in a different episode how to protect your cards and how to deal with that as well. So yeah, getting back to the cards, they always come upside down. We got a Gordon Hayward. And here's one of the nice cards. We've got a Wendell Carter Jr. Now this is a really cool card. Not sure the exact value, so I'm not too familiar with the player. There's a lot of new cards this year, but this one has the little jersey cutout. You typically don't want to touch the card at all. You're going to leave residue. And when it comes to collecting cards, you want to make sure that it's in pristine condition. So this is a really nice card, Wendell Carter Jr. And yeah, that's a big thing they're doing now. They've got the swatches and whatnot, but basically what they'll do is they'll have a little piece of the jersey and they'll incorporate it into the card, as you can see right here in the white. So it's a very nice card there. We got a Rodion's Curricks. Man, these names are insane. And we got an Eric Bledsoe, which is really nice. Not a lot of cards in the Panini Prisms, but still a very nice card. If I'm looking away, it's because I've got a monitor here so I can kind of see what's going on. But yeah, those are the cards. Probably could have washed my hands a little bit better. But in general, you want to put these in a sleeve and then immediately into a top loader to protect your cards. So that's going to be it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If you like, comment, and subscribe on this video, you're going to have a chance to win one of these packs of cards. These are pretty rare and they're going pretty quick. Again, you have a chance to win, any one of the top cards. If I look on the box here, we've got, there's different variations. The base prisms, green pulsar, numbered to 25. So one big thing that's going on with the cards is that they're not just printing them like maniacs like they did in the 80s, 90s with Ken Griffey and all those other players. Right now, Panini is exclusively doing all the important basketball cards. And yeah, you guys have to look out for that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next week.